The massive viewing windows of the ESS Thunderchild's bridge stretched from floor to ceiling, offering a breathtaking view of Earth below. Captain James Walker stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the last rays of sunlight dance across the ship's gleaming hull. After 15 years of construction, humanity's first true interstellar warship was ready for its maiden voyage. Engineering reports all systems are operating at optimal levels, Captain, announced First Officer Tom Reed from his station. His voice carried a hint of pride that matched the atmosphere throughout the bridge. Walker nodded, his gray eyes reflecting the stars that would soon become their home. At 3 kilometers long, the Thunderchild represented everything humanity had learned since first contact 20 years ago. Most of those lessons had been painful ones. The ship's primary designer, Dr. Anna Miller, stepped onto the bridge. Her usual lab coat had been replaced by a formal military uniform for the launch ceremony. Captain, the matter conversion drive is purring like a kitten. We're ready when you are. Walker allowed himself a small smile. The matter conversion technology was their ace in the hole. The aliens had always looked down on humanity as primitive newcomers to space, but they had never truly understood human ingenuity. While they focused on perfecting existing technologies, humanity had taken a completely different approach. Status report from all sections, Walker ordered, his voice calm but commanding. Weapons systems online, reported Lieutenant Mark Davis from Tactical. Medical bay standing by, came the response from Dr. Robert White. Engineering ready, confirmed Chief Engineer Lisa Brown. One by one, all 30 bridge stations reported their readiness. 3,000 crew members, the best Earth had to offer, waited for the order that would begin their journey. The ceremonial launch was supposed to be a simple affair, a demonstration of the ship's basic capabilities followed by a short patrol of the solar system. The gathered dignitaries and media crews waited in the observation station, eager to witness history. Captain Reed called out suddenly, his tone shifting to concern. Emergency transmission from Ross 421 colony. Priority 1. Walker's expression hardened. Ross 421 was one of Earth's furthest colonies, established just 3 years ago. Put it through. The main view screen crackled to life, showing the colonial governor's face. Static interference cut through his words, but the fear in his eyes was clear. Massive fleet approaching. Least 30 ships. Don't recognize the design. No response to hails. Request immediate. The transmission cut off abruptly. Dr. Miller's face paled. Ross 421 is 4 light years away, even if we left now. We'll make it, Walker stated firmly. He pressed the comm button on his chair. Attention all hands, this is the captain speaking. Our launch ceremony has just been changed to a combat mission. I know this ship and crew haven't been tested in real combat conditions, but our people need us. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do. He turned to his bridge crew. Navigation, plot a course to Ross 421. Engineering, prepare the matter conversion drive for maximum output. Tactical, begin loading all weapon systems. Medical, prepare for possible casualties. The bridge erupted into activity. Warning klaxons sounded throughout the massive ship as it shifted to combat status. Sir, Reed spoke up, the Admiralty is requesting we wait for additional ships. Walker shook his head. There's no time. The Thunderchild was built for exactly this kind of situation. Send a message to command. We're going. The massive engines of the Thunderchild hummed to life. Its revolutionary matter conversion drive began pulling in space debris, converting it to pure energy. The ship's hull gleamed as its adaptive armor activated, creating patterns of flowing metal across its surface. All stations report ready, Captain, Reed announced. Walker took his seat in the command chair, his voice steady and determined. Take us out, maximum speed. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity is not to be underestimated. The ESS Thunderchild turned gracefully away from Earth, its massive form accelerating far faster than any alien ship of comparable size. As they rapidly approached light speed, Walker watched his crew working with determined efficiency. Whatever they were about to face, he knew that human ingenuity and determination would see them through. The age of humanity hiding behind its borders was over. The time had come to show the stars what Earth could do. The Thunderchill streaked through space, its matter conversion drive turning space debris into pure energy. Inside the massive ship, Captain Walker studied the tactical display showing their progress toward Ross 421 colony. Status report on the colony's transmissions, he ordered, his eyes fixed on the holographic map. Lieutenant Davis worked his console with quick, precise movements. Still no response to our signals, sir. The colony's communication array went dark 10 minutes after their distress call. Dr. Miller approached the tactical station, her face showing concern. Captain, I think it's time we tested the ship's full capabilities. The matter conversion drive can handle more input. Walker nodded. Do it. Show me what this ship can really do. Deep within the Thunderchild's engineering section, Chief Engineer Brown watched as Dr. Miller's commands came through. The massive engine core began to pulse with a brighter light as it started pulling in more material from space. All hands, brace for acceleration, Brown announced over the ship-wide comm. The engine's hum grew louder, and the ship lurched forward with even greater speed. First Officer Reed gripped his console as the acceleration dampener struggled to compensate. Speed now at 150% of projected maximum, Captain. At this rate, we'll reach Ross 421 in 6 hours. Sir, Davis called out suddenly. Long-range sensors are picking up weapon signatures near the colony. Energy readings match nothing in our database. Walker stood from his chair, moving to the main viewport. Show me. The holographic display shifted, showing grainy images of massive ships surrounding the colony. Their designs were unlike anything humanity had encountered before, all sharp angles and protruding weapon ports, like floating fortresses of metal and energy. 32 ships in total, Reed reported grimly, each one bigger than our largest pre-Thunderchild vessels. Dr. Miller studied the readings with growing excitement. Captain, look at their energy signatures. They're using standard fusion drives. Their weapons appear to be plasma-based. She turned to Walker with a smile. They have no idea what they're about to face. Walker returned to his chair, his mind already forming battle plans. Begin charging all weapon systems. I want the matter conversion cannon ready the moment we arrive. Lieutenant Davis, start running combat simulations based on these ships' configurations. The next 6 hours were a blur of activity. The crew ran drill after drill, preparing for every possible scenario. In the medical bay, Dr. White and his team readied themselves for casualties. In engineering, Brown and Miller fine-tuned the ship's systems for maximum performance. As they approached the colony, Walker gathered his senior staff for a final briefing. These aliens, whoever they are, chose the wrong colony to attack. He began, his voice firm. The Thunderchild may be untested in real combat, but each of you knows exactly what this ship can do. Today, we show them why humanity deserves its place among the stars. The ship dropped out of its high-speed run with perfect precision, emerging right at the edge of the colony system. The alien fleet came into clear view, their dark ships forming a ring around the colony. Multiple weapon locks detected, Davis reported calmly. They're turning to face us. Show them our best side, Walker ordered. Rotate the ship 30 degrees port. Let them see exactly what they're dealing with. The Thunderchild turned slowly, sunlight gleaming off its adaptive armor. Its size matched the largest alien vessel, but its design was clearly different, smooth lines and hidden weapon ports, a predator disguised as a work of art. Sir, they're broadcasting a message, Reed announced. Audio only. A harsh, mechanical voice filled the bridge. Human vessel, this space now belongs to the Dominators. Surrender your ship and prepare for biological assessment. Walker stood, straightening his uniform. His reply was calm, but carried the weight of humanity's determination. This is Captain James Walker of the ESS Thunderchild. You are threatening a human colony. You have exactly one chance to withdraw. After that, we will demonstrate exactly why that was a mistake." The only response was the sudden brightening of weapon ports across the alien fleet. "So be it," Walker said quietly. "All hands. Battle stations." Red alert klaxons blared throughout the Thunderchild as thousands of smaller craft poured from the Dominator ships. The alien fighters looked like metal insects, their sharp edges glinting in the starlight. 3,000 fighter craft approaching. Lieutenant Davis reported from Tactical. Their energy readings suggest basic plasma weapons. Captain Walker remained calm in his command chair. "Time to show them our first surprise. Activate the Aegis defense grid." Across the Thunderchild's massive hull, hundreds of small ports opened. Each contained a rapidly tracking defense turret guided by the ship's advanced AI. Dr. Miller watched from her station as her creation prepared for its first real test. "Aegis grid online," she announced. "Eye-targeting systems are tracking all incoming fighters." The alien fighters came in fast, probably expecting to overwhelm the single human ship with sheer numbers. They had no way of knowing that every turret on the Aegis grid could track and fire 60 times per second. "Let them get closer," Walker ordered. "Wait for my mark." The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the swarm of enemy fighters grew larger on their screens. At their current speed, they would reach firing range in 30 seconds. "Sir," Reed spoke up, "the colony's shields are holding, but they won't last much longer under the capital ship's bombardment." Walker nodded. 20 more seconds. Trust me." The fighter swarms split into attack formations, preparing to hit the Thunderchild from multiple angles. Their confidence was clear in their aggressive approach. 10 seconds to firing range. Davis counted down. Walker allowed himself a small smile. "Aegis grid. Engage." In an instant, the space around the Thunderchild lit up like a newborn star. Thousands of precision energy beams lashed out simultaneously. Each beam tracked its target with perfect accuracy, guided by quantum computers that could predict movement patterns in microseconds. The effect was devastating. Hundreds of alien fighters exploded in the first second, hundreds more in the second. The survivors tried to scatter, but the Aegis grid tracked them relentlessly. Their evasive maneuvers meant nothing to the eye's predictive targeting. "Enemy fighter screen is down to 20% strength and falling," Davis reported, unable to keep the awe from his voice. "They're trying to retreat." The main Dominator fleet, apparently shocked by the destruction of their fighters, began to move. Their capital ships turned their massive weapons toward the Thunderchild. "Multiple energy spikes detected," Reed warned. "They're charging their main guns." "Perfect," Walker said. "They're grouping together. Dr. Miller, is the matter conversion cannon ready?" Miller's fingers danced across her console. "Charged and ready, Captain." Target lock established on their lead ship. The Dominator fleet fired first. Massive beams of plasma energy shot toward the Thunderchild. But the ship's adaptive armor shifted, creating complex patterns that dispersed the energy harmlessly. "Return fire," Walker ordered. "Show them what real power looks like." A single port opened at the front of the Thunderchild. The matter conversion cannon looked deceptively small compared to the alien weapons, but as it fired, its true nature was revealed. The beam struck the lead Dominator ship dead center. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, in a spectacular display of physics, the alien ship's own mass began to convert into pure energy. The resulting explosion consumed 3 nearby ships and damaged 2 others. "Direct hit," Davis confirmed. 4 enemy capital ships destroyed, 2 heavily damaged. "The remaining fleet is. They appear to be in disarray." "Sir." Walker stood from his chair. "Send them another message. That was 1 shot from 1 human ship. We have plenty more. Last chance to retreat." The bridge crew watched as the Dominator fleet's formation broke apart. Some ships began to turn away from the colony. "Sir," Reed said with a grin, "I think they're starting to understand." "Good," Walker replied. But understanding isn't enough. They need to learn. All weapons, prepare for full engagement. Let's show them exactly what happens when you threaten human lives. The remaining Dominator ships regrouped, forming a new attack pattern. Their initial shock at losing 4 ships had turned to rage. Green energy pulsed along their hulls as they powered up their strongest weapons. "They're charging something big," Lieutenant Davis warned. "Energy readings are off the charts." Captain Walker studied the tactical display. "Dr. Miller, what are we looking at?" Miller analyzed the readings quickly. "They're linking their ship's power systems together. It's crude but effective. The combined blast could overwhelm our adaptive armor." "Not if we hit them first," Walker decided. "Chief Brown, divert all spare power to the forward shields. Dr. Miller, begin charging the matter conversion cannon for a wide beam shot." The Thunderchild's engines hummed louder as power redirected throughout the massive ship. On the hull, the adaptive armor shifted and thickened along the front sections. "Sir," Reed called out, "message from the colony. Their shields are at 15% and failing. They have 5,000 civilians down there." Walker's jaw tightened. Time to show these bullies what happens when they push too far. "Lieutenant Davis, target their entire front line with the convergent cannon. Dr. Miller, maximum spread." "But sir," Miller protested, "a spread that wide will reduce the beam's power. We've never tested it at this range." "Trust the ship, Doctor," Walker said firmly. "She hasn't let us down yet." The Dominator fleet unleashed their combined attack. A massive wave of green energy, bigger than anything they'd fired before, rushed toward the Thunderchild. At the same time, several smaller ships broke formation, heading toward the colony. "They're making a run for the civilians," Reed shouted. "Not on my watch," Walker growled. "Fire everything. Now." The Thunderchild's response was devastating. The matter conversion cannon fired, its beams spreading out like a fan of pure white light. At the same time, every other weapon on the ship activated. Railed guns launched hypersonic projectiles, energy beams lashed out from secondary batteries, and the Aegis grid filled space with a web of defensive fire. The white beam struck first, catching 3 Dominator ships in its spread. Instead of the instant conversion they'd seen before, these ships began to break apart more slowly. Their own mass turned against them, sections of hull transforming into explosive energy in a cascade of destruction. "Direct hits," Davis reported excitedly. "Their linked power systems are causing a chain reaction." The explosion rippled through the Dominator fleet like dominoes falling. Ships that had linked their power systems together now found that connection becoming their downfall. Each explosion triggered the next, creating a spectacular light show in space. "Colony reports the enemy ships are turning back," Reed announced. "They're retreating from the blast zone." Walker allowed himself a moment of satisfaction before issuing his next order. "Launch rescue shuttles to the colony. Dr. White, prepare medical for civilian casualties. Engineering, begin power redistribution for shield repair." The bridge crew watched as the remaining Dominator ships struggled to escape the chain reaction their own weapons had caused. What had started as 32 ships was now reduced to less than 10, and those were fleeing in disarray. "Sir," Miller said, checking her readings, "the matter conversion cannon performed beyond expectations. The wide beam setting proved more effective against multiple targets than our simulations predicted." Walker nodded. "Sometimes the best test is a real fight. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them the Thunderchild just proved itself in combat. And send another message to any alien ships in range. This is what happens when you threaten human lives. We are not defenseless, and we are not afraid." As the rescue operations began, the Thunderchild's crew realized they had done more than win a battle. They had shown the galaxy that humanity's first Stardestroyer was more than just a symbol. It was a revolution in space warfare, and a clear message to any who would threaten Earth or its colonies. The age of human dominance in space had begun. The space around Ross 421 colony was filled with debris from the battle. Rescue shuttles moved between the Thunderchild and the colony, carrying medical supplies and emergency teams. Captain Walker stood at his usual spot on the bridge, watching the cleanup operation. "Final damage report," he requested, turning to face his crew. First Officer Reed checked his tablet. The colony's main dome took some hits, but their backup systems held. 23 injured civilians, no deaths. As for us, he smiled proudly. The Thunderchild's adaptive armor absorbed most impacts. We're operating at 92% efficiency. Dr. Miller approached with her own report. "The matter conversion cannon exceeded all design specs, Captain. When we get back to Earth, I want to study how it performed in wide beam mode. We might be able to make it even more effective." "Sir," Lieutenant Davis called out suddenly, multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. 5. No, 7 vessels approaching. Walker straightened his uniform. "Identity. Different designs from the Dominators," Davis replied. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, sir, in multiple languages, including English." "Put it through," Walker ordered. A deep, clear voice filled the bridge. "ESS Thunderchild, this is Ambassador Kelvin of the Galactic Council. We witnessed your battle from long-range sensors. Request permission to approach and establish diplomatic contact." Walker shared a look with his senior staff before responding. "Permission granted, Ambassador. Welcome to human space." The new ships moved closer, their designs sleek and clearly non-military. The largest vessel, carrying the Ambassador, was covered in symbols that marked it as a diplomatic ship. "They're launching a small shuttle," Reed reported, "requesting permission to dock." Walker nodded. "Granted. Dr. White, prepare a formal reception in Docking Bay 3. Lieutenant Davis, maintain defensive readiness, but power down primary weapons." Minutes later, Walker stood in the docking bay as the alien shuttle landed. The door opened to reveal beings of various species, some humanoid, others completely alien. Their leader, Ambassador Kelvin, appeared almost human except for his silver skin and height. "Captain Walker," the ambassador said, bowing slightly, "your ship's performance today has changed many minds in the Council. The Dominators have terrorized this sector for centuries. No single ship has ever defeated their battle fleet." Walker kept his voice professional but firm. "The Thunderchild was built to protect human lives. Ambassador, we're new to the galaxy, but we will defend what's ours." The ambassador gestured to his companions. "These are representatives from 6 different spacefaring races. We've come to offer Earth immediate membership in the Galactic Council. Your technology, particularly your matter conversion innovations, could help protect many worlds." "I appreciate the offer," Walker replied, "but such decisions must come from Earth's government. What I can tell you is that humanity will no longer stand by while stronger powers bully the weak." Dr. Miller, who had joined them, added, "The Thunderchild is just the beginning. We have 3 more ships under construction, each with improvements based on what we learned building this one." The alien representatives murmured among themselves at this news. The ambassador's expression showed both respect and concern. "Your species continues to surprise us," he said. "When we first contacted Earth, many thought humans were too primitive to matter. Others warned that your rapid technological growth made you dangerous. Now I see the truth. Humanity's greatest weapon isn't your technology. It's your determination to use it justly." As Walker led the delegation on a tour of the non-classified areas of the ship, he could see the growing respect in their eyes. The Thunderchild had done more than win a battle. It had forced the galaxy to recognize humanity as equals. In Earth's orbital shipyards, construction crews were already working on the next generation of Stardestroyers. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was here to stay. News of the Thunderchild's victory spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. In the Great Hall of Voices on Earth, Captain Walker stood before representatives from 50 alien civilizations. The massive chamber, built after first contact, had never been so full. "The recording you just watched is complete and unedited, Walker said, his voice carrying through the translator fields. One human ship defeated 32 Dominator vessels. We share this not to boast, but to deliver a message. The era of bullying younger civilizations is over. The alien representatives stirred in their seats. Some showed signs of discomfort, others of approval. A tall, blue-skinned being stood up. The Dominators ruled space lanes for 1,000 years, it said. How did one ship from a young race defeat them so completely? Dr. Miller stepped forward, her uniform decorated with new medals. The answer is simple. We thought differently. While older races perfect existing technology, we looked for new approaches. The matter conversion cannon doesn't just destroy. It turns an enemy's strength against them. Ambassador Kelvin, now Earth's advocate in the Galactic Council, added his voice. In just 3 days since the battle, 17 worlds have requested human protection. The Thunderchild proved that newer races can defend themselves. The chamber's main screen lit up with a live feed from Earth's orbital shipyards. 3 massive shapes took form in the construction docks. New Stardestroyers, each bearing improvements based on the Thunderchild's battle performance. Humanity offers friendship to all peaceful races, Walker continued. But we also offer this warning. We will protect our people. We will defend our allies. And we will answer any act of aggression with overwhelming force. A small reptilian diplomat raised a clawed hand. Your ship's power is impressive, but the Dominators will seek revenge. Their empire spans hundreds of systems. Walker smiled. We're counting on it. The Thunderchild was built to be a prototype. Each new ship incorporates better technology. The Dominators taught us a valuable lesson. Peace comes through strength. The chamber erupted in discussion. On screens across the galaxy, billions of beings watched as humanity stepped onto the galactic stage, not as supplicants, but as equals. First Officer Reed entered the chamber, walking quickly to Walker's side. He whispered something urgent in the captain's ear. Walker's expression remained calm as he addressed the assembly again. I've just received word that the Dominators have gathered their main fleet. 300 ships are moving toward human space. The alien representatives shifted nervously, but Walker raised his hand for silence. We expected this. Humanity's response is already prepared. He nodded to Dr. Miller, who activated a new display. The screen showed a massive construction yard hidden in the asteroid belt. Inside, something huge took shape, a vessel that dwarfed even the Thunderchild. The ESS Humanity's Hope, Miller announced. 5 kilometers long, powered by 3 matter conversion cores, and carrying weapons that make the Thunderchild look like a training vessel. It will be ready in 2 days. The chamber fell silent. The image was clear. Humanity had planned for this moment. We offer the Dominators the same choice they gave us, Walker said firmly. Retreat or face the consequences. The difference is, we mean it as a warning, not a threat. We don't want to destroy them. We want to teach them that the galaxy is big enough for all of us. As the assembly ended, Ambassador Kelvin approached Walker privately. You knew they would retaliate. This was all planned. Walker nodded. The Thunderchild was a message. Humanity's hope will be the exclamation point. After this, the galaxy will have to accept a simple truth. Humanity is here to stay, and we will protect what's ours. The news spread quickly. Humanity hadn't just won a battle. They had changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. 2 weeks after the release of Humanity's Hope, the galaxy had changed forever. Captain Walker stood on the bridge of the Thunderchild, watching as the massive form of Earth's newest Star Destroyer moved into formation alongside them. The Dominator fleet had turned back at the edge of human space, their pride finally outweighed by wisdom. Message from Admiral White on Humanity's Hope, Lieutenant Davis announced. The Dominators have signed the peace treaty. They're withdrawing from all contested systems. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. Dr. Miller, recently promoted to head of Fleet Research and Development, smiled at the readings on her tablet. The Dominators made the right choice, she said. Our scans showed their fleet wasn't ready for what we had waiting. The matter conversion technology in humanity's hope is 3 generations ahead of the Thunderchilds. Walker nodded, remembering the demonstration they'd given the Dominator ambassadors. A single shot from humanity's hope had converted an entire asteroid into energy, creating a light show visible from Earth. Status report on the colony network, he asked Reed. First Officer Reed brought up a holographic display of human space. 27 new colonies established in the last week alone. The Galactic Council approved all our expansion requests. More importantly, 15 younger races have requested human protection. And the shipyards. Working at full capacity, Miller answered proudly. 5 new Stardestroyers under construction. Each one incorporates improvements based on what we learned. The Thunderchild may have been our first, but it won't be our last. The main screen lit up with an incoming transmission. Ambassador Kelvin's silver face appeared, looking pleased. Captain Walker, the Galactic Council has finished their deliberations. Earth has been granted a permanent seat on the High Council, with special recognition for our role in peacekeeping. Thank you, Ambassador, Walker replied. But we didn't do this for recognition. We did it because it was right. That, Kelvin said with a smile, is exactly why the galaxy needs humanity. For too long, older races have been stuck in their ways. Your species brings something new, not just technology, but a different way of thinking. The transmission ended, and Walker turned to his crew. Set course for Earth. It's time this ship had a proper maintenance check. As the Thunderchild moved toward home, Dr. Miller approached Walker with a new set of designs on her tablet. The next generation of ships will be even better, she said excitedly. We're developing technology that can convert energy back into matter. Imagine being able to repair battle damage instantly, or create supplies out of pure energy. Walker smiled. One step at a time, Doctor. We've already changed the galaxy. Let's make sure we do it responsibly. The journey back to Earth took them past Mars, where the new Fleet Academy was under construction. Thousands of cadets would train there, learning to operate the growing fleet of Star Destroyers. Look, Reed said, pointing to a small ship approaching. The first diplomatic vessel from the younger races. They're here to learn from us. Walker watched as the ship docked with a nearby station. Just months ago, humanity had been seen as primitives barely worth noticing. Now, they were teachers, protectors, and pioneers. Send a message to Fleet Command, he ordered. The Thunderchild is ready for its next mission, whatever it may be. As Earth grew larger in their view, the crew of humanity's first Star Destroyer felt pride in what they had accomplished. They hadn't just won battles, they had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. The Thunderchild had started as an experiment, a hope that humanity could defend itself. It had become something more, a symbol that even the youngest race could stand equal to the oldest, that determination and innovation could overcome any obstacle. As the ship entered Earth orbit, the first light of dawn broke over the planet's surface. It wasn't just a new day for Earth, it was a new dawn for the entire galaxy.